do 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 do. I don't know whether to drink from my cup or check that the live feed is going out okay. So bear with me a second while I refresh the page here and have a look. Seems to be okay. Rock and roll. I want to rap to you a little bit, not in the sort of American street music genre sense, but just give you something to think about in the concept of time. Time is something that's always on my mind. We are so limited with our time, and if no one knows how much time they've got. You know the story. No one knows how much time they've got. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. That should be a rocket in your arsenal of life to get things done. If you need to get things done. And there's a hell of a lot of us that need to get things done. There are 86,400 seconds in a day. How you use those seconds determines the quality of your life. Are you aware of that? Or are you just letting things slide by? Are you just letting things drift on? I think hopefully the older we get, the more we feel the need to squeeze every last piece of essence out of the day in a willful, knowledgeable way. Not in the sense that you do when you're a student and you burn the candle at both ends and in the middle, where you go out on a Sunday and you come back on a Wednesday and you can't remember what you did on the Tuesday. Not in that sense. In a conscious sense. A very conscious sense. Let me read something to you. It's very short, but I think it makes the point. One of the most fundamental and constantly underestimated marks of a well-educated person is the ability to arrive on time, or more respectfully, in time. It is a simple yet clear intellectual sign of RESPECT. Find out what that means to me. Of course, be where you are. Obviously, you need to be there. Otherwise, you will miss most of your life. But life is a complex sum of elements, far greater than just yourself. This is page 1, paragraph 1 of my first business book, Principles for Leadership. You can get it free on my page on Facebook. Just put in the title. You can download it free, lots of places online. If you can't find it, send me a message. I'll get a copy to you. The whole book is 100 principles, 100 perspectives, 100 methods, 100 strategies to make sure that you don't waste not only your time, but your life. Time is a recurring theme and will be a recurring theme in these short presentations. Why have you got two versions? Okay, let me give you a bit of background or context. The Maid in Moray interviews are me listening to people, trying to absorb the information that they want to share, and you should listen too. The Maid in Moray lives. Yeah. Well, that's different. That's a lot more chit chat of me spitting out into the world thoughts and ideas to initiate, innovate, and maybe inspire you a little bit to reflect on your own life and how you can make it a little bit better. What does time mean to you? You can drop a message. You can type a question in the comment section, as most of you will pick this up after it's done. You can do it there and then. What does time mean to you? How important is time to you? Is it haste? Is it waste? Does one make the other? There are a lot of things that I could preach about this, but I don't want to tell anybody else what to do, because I don't know what everybody else should do. What do you think? Should I vote for this political party? I don't know. I don't know what's in the future. I don't know which way is the right way. I know what works for me. I don't know if that works for everybody else. And if there's somebody out there who thinks what works for them is going to work for everybody, then I think that's a mistake as well. Too much division. We're divided. Society is divided. We're divided up into divisions. You got your premier division. You see how we're all categorized and labeled and filed. Well, we need to step up to the plate and understand the responsibilities that we have in life, because time is short. Time is very short, and time, because it's short, is precious. The less we have, the more we need to value it. Don't you think? Maybe I'm wrong. When I was in my mid-teenage years, my parents, God bless them, found a job for me. It was helping out in a local, was it like a cafe or a bar, something like that? I'm not actually sure because I never ever got there because I overslept the first morning. I don't know if the alarm clock just like broke and didn't go off, or I forgot to set it the night before, or I don't know exactly what happened. But I know it happened. And I know I had to deal with it. And I woke up late. And I rushed to the phone and I grabbed the number and I dialed and said, "Oh, yeah, sorry, I overslept. I'll be in a bit late." And the person at the other end just said, "Hey, don't bother." There you go. Lesson learned, perhaps. But what lesson? Second chances are rare. I think that's what I understood from that. If you get it right the first time, then you don't have to worry. Perhaps. I just told myself at the time it wasn't meant to be. Maybe that's true. We'll never know, so you just have to keep going. You just have to keep moving. I lived in London for a while. That was fun. Almost got killed walking down the wrong street a number of times. That's the beauty of living in the capital city. The capital city of your own country, and you can't walk down your own streets. I believe it's worse now. Not that anybody would notice, because those who know it's worse leave, and the new people who arrive just accept everything as normal. Because that's how it works. So I lived in London. I was looking for a job. I had various little jobs and I volunteered in different places. If you want to get a job, if you want to find a job, volunteer somewhere. The number of things that come out of volunteerism is legion. It's epic. Have you ever volunteered? It's always worth it. It's always worth it. Anyway, I got an interview and I wanted the job so badly. I was because I can't remember why I wanted it so badly. I think it was the money, maybe. Just to get out of the house that I was sharing with those people. They were nice people, but you kind of, it kind of gets claustrophobic when there's quite a few people in a small space. And so you need to get out just to breathe sometimes. I wanted the job so bad that I went to, how to make sure you get the job. I went to the company in advance. Like I went to them like 3 or 4 days before the interview and said, I just wanted to check whether or not this company is the kind of company that I'd like to be working for. And so I arrived with it. I wanted to give myself every advantage, and I recommend you do that. Don't just turn up at the interview. Turn up a couple of days before the interview with a couple of pre-questions. I'm sorry, we can't answer those because we don't want to be prejudiced against certain. Well, at least they've seen your face. Don't just give yourself, gift yourself every opportunity. Gift yourself every opportunity. I even planned out how long it would take to get from where I lived to the office where the interview was. I even did a pre-run, I think the day before, to make sure I would get there on time and not be late. I'm not quite sure where this timing thing came from. Perhaps it was the constant Pavlovian bells of school that caused us to panic, stuff books in our bags and shuffle down the corridor to be filed and seated in the next room. Perhaps. Not sure. Not sure about that. Anyway, I got the job. I wasn't first pick for it. So sometimes you don't even have to come first to win, right? This idea that the person coming first always wins, it's nonsense. Take part, you never know the benefits. Partake in the event. Get involved. Don't stand on the sidelines of life. There you go. Later on, I was still living in London and got a job working in this like kids adventure playground centre. Did a lot of work with kids, a lot of work with homeless people as well. It was intriguing. It was strange that me, who had very little experience of homelessness, ended up helping homeless people. Maybe that was to prepare me for the future. You never can tell. Anyway, I arrived in the first. I arrived on the first day and was given several tasks. You know, the first, and this place was in kind of north central London. Like they've got these big housing estates, and they put these little play centres in the middle of them, and they're repressive places. I remember the playgrounds in the centre were totally unimaginative, with climbing frames shaped like tanks, which is the kind of message that you want to give to the kids, I'm sure. The playgrounds had broken bottles scattered all over them, bits of glass everywhere, and maybe the odd needle here and there. It was pretty rough places. And in the middle was a building, and the building had like all these, it was like a mini prison, had all these bars around it and shutters on the windows, and it was like super protected, like some kind of military bunker. So I arrived there the first day, and the owner said, okay, your first job is you have to go around and open up the shutters on the window and air the building and do that. And I'm like, sure thing, I'm on it. And so I did the activity. I went around the building and opened up the shutters and opened up the windows and aired the building, and got back to the boss. And I said to the boss, done, next job. And the boss looked at me. He said, you're finished already? I said, yeah, easy task, done. And he looked at me and he said, it takes me an hour to do that. And you've just done that in 15 minutes. You understand what I'm saying here? He said, it takes me an hour, so it should probably take you an hour to do that as well. There's an order to things, and you don't want to screw with the order of things. And I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson well. But what lesson? A lot of people's jobs are not actually work. They are avoiding work. Don't get me wrong, I know people work as well. There's people slaving more than their fair share every single day. But on the other side, There's people not putting in the time. They're just watching the clock, stretching things out. Like a lot of kids do in school. Just waiting for the hand to click on to the next period. Crazy. How important is time to you? How focused are you on the principles of time? I don't like people who waste my time. Because it's my time. The hours are called the hours because they belong to us. I don't like people wasting my time because I don't get it back. It doesn't come back. What gives people the right? What gives people the right to waste people's time? What gives me the right to waste somebody else's time? What gives them the right to waste mine? Don't do it. Don't waste people's time. It's just wrong. Always has been, always will be. If you want to be a principled person, you have to respect other people's time. You really do. Because you have to understand that each moment is unique. Each day is precious. You need to respect the essences of time. Think about it. Ask yourself some questions. Are you diligent? Are you dependable? Are you aware of how quickly it passes? Do you honor your commitments? Can people trust you? When you say, I'll see you at 2, are you stretching it out? You're going to make them wait? You playing a little power game, a little power struggle? Are you trying to have a little one-upmanship? Really? Is that the best you can do? Is that all you know? Is that what you learned? What kind of example are you setting? What kind of example are we all setting? We all set examples. Constantly. We're all under observation. At some point in time, someone's going to look up to you and they're going to copy you. Especially if you have kids. You have to be strategic. You have to plan. You have to be aware. You have to understand that problems might occur. It always amazes me when it's like the first day of school or the last day of school, and all the cars are on the road at the same point in time because everyone's trying to get their kids to school. And everyone's doing it at exactly the same time. And they're all frustrated and they're all annoyed, but they all knew that they'd all be there. And none of them got up 20, 30 minutes earlier to beat the traffic. Or maybe one or two of them did. Maybe there's a few. Maybe there's a few smarts amongst the bunch. Maybe. Always amazes me. Rush hour. Bang, everyone's there at the same point. Hold back a little bit. Go a little bit later. Plan your time. Be strategic. Strategy matters. Preparation makes a difference. What is it that time means to you? You've been given it. You've been given this gift. What is it that time means to you and your friends, in your family? What about in your business life? If you're a boss, are you just giving busy work to people? Just to keep them busy? Just to keep them focused? Just to keep them moving? Or is it something important? Is it something constructive? Are you future-minded enough to put in place what you need to put in place to take the step to the next level and to take other people with you? You need to understand the importance of time. These are my thoughts. I'd like to know yours. I'd like to know what you think about time. I'd like to know how much it matters to you. I'd like to know if you've got a different opinion, a different perspective. I'd like to know if you've got an example. I'd like to see if you're going to record something and maybe respond to this. Don't react, respond. You know, do it in a thoughtful way. Do it with kindness. Do it with heart. What's your perspective on time? You know we don't get it back. It all goes too quickly. It all goes too quickly. Just as a final thought, I'll give you something semi-abstract to think about. Just because it's on my mind. I think the mind and the body travel in slightly different ways. The body is pretty much fixed in the direction that it's going, but the mind can hop and skip backwards and forwards. I think this duality is important to understand. Because with those hops and skips, you can go back to what you did before. You can go forward to where you haven't been yet. You can use that. You can use the mind to shape your world. You can use the mind to shape the body. You can use your mind to shape the future. It's a powerful tool. Use it. Use it well. If you're interested, drop a comment. You can pick up the book Principles for Leadership. It's on all the Facebook pages. It's linked on my websites. Check it out. Read a page. It's not going to kill you. Get it for somebody else. Get it just to tell me where the mistakes are. I don't mind. There's a thought. There'll be more soon. That's for sure. Wherever you are, I wish you a great day. Take care.